I stared at my computer screen, my fingers dancing across the keyboard as I executed a complex SQL injection attack to accelerate the Bitcoin transfer. The lines of code scrolled by at dizzying speed, each character bringing me closer to my goal. Select from users where username equals or 1 equals 1, drop table security underscore logs. I grinned as I bypassed another layer of security. I'd studied the recent SolarWinds hack and the log4j vulnerability, and I wasn't about to make the same mistakes those amateurs made. My custom Metasploit module was working like a charm, exploiting a zero-day vulnerability I'd discovered in their system. Suddenly, 2 men burst into the office. They were not security guards, but heavily armed cartel members, their eyes scanning the room with the cold precision of predators hunting their prey. My heart pounded like an overclocked CPU as I ducked behind Mr. Dalton's desk, sweat beading on my forehead. I muttered a string of code under my breath, willing the transfer to complete faster. Bling! The satisfied chime of a successful transfer rang out, accompanied by a notification. Who's the king of crypto now, Dalton? Satoshi Nakamoto, eat your heart out. Mr. Dalton's bitcoins were now in my custody.
There!
Unfortunately, the same bell had also caught the attention of the cartel members. The air erupted with gunfire, the acrid smell of cordite filling my nostrils as my ears rang from the deafening shots. One of the shots shattered the window behind me, showering me with glass. Adrenaline surged through my veins, sharpening my senses to razor precision. I snatched my laptop and made a split-second decision. I sprinted towards the broken window and jumped out. Ah! How did a scrawny, introverted code monkey like me end up pulling off the crypto heist of the century and base jumping from the 8th floor of a corporate high-rise? Buckle up, fellow hackers and adrenaline junkies, because this story is about to go from zero to binary real quick. We're talking Matrix meets The Social Network with a dash of Fast and Furious. And unlike your sketchy download links, I promise this tale is 100% virus-free. Mostly, though I can't guarantee it won't infect your mind with the urge to check your firewall settings. Before I continue, don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring that notification bell. It all started 2 weeks earlier in the school hallways, where I was gathering courage to ask Kiara out, while she was handing out flyers about global warming.
Hey, Alan, what are your thoughts on global warming?
I froze, my brain suddenly more locked up than a 256-bit encryption. I think it's hot. Smooth, Alan, real smooth. You can crack AES encryption in your sleep but can't string together a coherent sentence? Pathetic. Time to execute conversationrescue.exe. Error 404, charm not found.
What?
Sorry, I think you're hot. I mean, statistically speaking, given the rising global temperatures, we're all getting hotter, right? I'll just go debug myself now. I couldn't do anything but turn away ashamed and run off while listening to Kiara's giggles. Somebody initiate a full system reboot on me, please. Control-Alt-Delete this entire interaction. Is there a restore point for my dignity? Well, at least she found my social awkwardness amusing. I was too shy and withdrawn. Maybe it's because at 13 I spent a year and a half in bed with a rare disease. While other kids were discovering hormones, I was at home discovering the intricacies of C++, Python, and the dark web. I built my first botnet before I could legally drive, and by 14 I had more Bitcoin than friends. That's how I became the coding prodigy I am today, capable of hacking anything from a smart fridge to a government mainframe. The human firewall, though? Still working on that patch. In the afternoon, my favorite Uncle Mike asked me to come to his office to help him with a computer problem. When I arrived, my uncle introduced me to Daniela, a coworker who had lost her password to her cold wallet where she kept a few cryptocurrencies. For those who don't know what a cold wallet is, it's a device similar to a flash drive where people keep their cryptos offline so that no hacker like me can steal them.
If you get my cryptos back, I'll give you anything you want.
Wait, what? Is she flirting with me? She's twice my age, but she's in great shape. Come on, Alan, focus!
Dinner's on you if my nephew gets your cryptos back before the sun goes down.
It's on, and I know the perfect spot.
Daniela winked and smiled at me, making me nervous. I started working under the pressure of my uncle's watchful eye. After a couple of hours and 1,000 different combinations using a decoder, I was finally able to figure out the password and access her cryptos, which I then transferred to an exchange. Daniela was able to sell them and earn some bucks just before sunset. Daniela then invited us to dinner at a restaurant on the boardwalk where the two of them revealed something rather shocking.
What you just did was a test.
And you passed with flying colors.
Our boss, Mr. Dalton, is a criminal who exploits, underpays, and mistreats his employees. He has over 100 bitcoins in his cold wallet stored in the safe in his office. We want you to steal it.
I'm his assistant, so I can give you all the inside information you need. Building blueprints, details of security protocols in use, number of guards on duty, whatever you want, I'll get it for you.
What? You are insane. And you know I'm a minor, right? I tried to leave, but Uncle Mike held me back.
Alan, please don't go. At least hear what we have to say.
I don't want to hear it, because this is wrong and I'm not interested in going to jail.
No one is going to jail. If anyone can plan this well enough for us to get away with it, it's you.
I can also use Mr. Dalton's computer to schedule a fake technical visit from our internet provider. That way, you could come into the office disguised as a technician to get the cold wallet. If we all work together, we'll be super rich.
You guys are delusional. Good luck. I was leaving when Uncle Mike held me by my shirt collar.
Alan, your Aunt Anne is really sick, and her insurance won't cover her treatment. If I don't get that money, she will die.
Uncle Mike and his wife Anne had 2 young children. I couldn't just let her die. And despite my young age, I already knew how horrible it feels to be sick. I had to help them, so I said yes.
I knew I could count on you. Family always comes first.
The next 2 weeks, I dove into my heist preparations, and I had to admit, I was really enjoying it. And when Uncle Mike and Daniela came by one evening to discuss our plan, I was ready for them.
All right, Wonder Kid, show us what you've got.
I swiveled in my chair facing my multiple monitors. Prepare to have your minds blown. I've mapped out the entire security system of Dalton's building. It's like Swiss cheese, full of holes. Daniela leaned in, her perfume momentarily shorting out my brain circuits.
Impressive, Alan. But how are we going to get past the biometric scanner on Mr. Dalton's door and his safe?
I smirked, pulling up a 3D model of a fingerprint. Already sorted. I've created a polymer mold that can fool any fingerprint scanner. It's based on an exploit I found in the scanner's firmware. They should really update their systems more often. Mike whistled low.
That's my nephew. What about the guards?
Glad you asked. I've hacked into their scheduling system. On the night of the heist, they'll be understaffed due to a computer glitch. Also, the guard on duty will be watching some fake surveillance footage that I will install into their system, which will keep playing on a loop. As I laid out the rest of the plan, I could see the amazement growing on their faces. For once, I felt truly in my element. This wasn't just a heist. It was the ultimate hack. And I was the mastermind behind it all.
Alan, you're not just good, you're a genius.
I felt a flush of pride. Maybe I couldn't talk to girls at school, but I could sure as hell impress them with my skills. Maybe I'd have a chance to impress Kiara too. So there we were, on a Saturday, waiting outside the office in a rented van with fake license plates. And I looked ridiculous disguised as an internet company technician, while Daniela glued a fake mustache on me. I'm not gonna fool anyone dressed like this. I look stupid.
You look hot.
I look like a kid with a fake mustache. The security guard will know in a second.
The guard doesn't even care. He's probably watching football. Stop wasting time and let's get this show on the road.
Okay, let's do this. I ran the software and the fake security surveillance videos went into a loop. There was no turning back now. So I gathered my courage, grabbed my backpack, and walked into the lobby where the security guard greeted me.
Good day. How can I help you?
Hi, I'm here to do internet maintenance on the 8th floor.
Just a minute, please.
The guard checked his computer and saw the appointment scheduled by Daniela. Then he took a good look at me.
How old are you? You look so young.
21. They're hiring us younger and younger to pay us less and less.
I hear you, brother. Soon they'll replace us with children and robots. Come in.
I was sweating nervously as I took the elevator to the 8th floor and put on an earpiece to stay in contact with Daniela and Uncle Mike. I'm in, on my way up to the office.
Great, the floor must be clear.
There wasn't a soul in the whole place. Daniela had made sure of that by spreading the rumor that they were going to fumigate that weekend. I was easily able to get past the biometric scanner outside Mr. Dalton's office, and it didn't take me long to crack the code on his safe. Click! The door opened, and there was the jackpot, Mr. Dalton's cold wallet. I have eyes on the prize.
You got this.
I pulled out my laptop, plugged in the cold wallet, and got to work on cracking the password, which I was able to do within 15 minutes. That had to be some kind of record. Then I started the transfer. It was just a matter of time before we got those Bitcoins and my Aunt Anne could start her treatment. Everything was going according to plan until...
Alan?
Yes?
We are monitoring the guards, and the one in the surveillance room seems to be getting uneasy.
He is checking the monitors and talking to his partner. I think they figured out the hoax. They're calling someone. You need to hurry.
I'm trying!
Alan, don't freak out, but a black car just pulled up and 2 armed men have entered the building. They're heading your way.
How can I not freak out? 2 armed men are heading my way!
I had heard rumors that Mr. Dalton was laundering money for the Mexican cartel, but I never thought it was real.
Oh great! Now we know it is real! So now you know how I got here. The men came into the office, discovered me, and I had no choice but to jump out the window. But did you think I was stupid enough to jump into the void? Of course not! When I came into the building, I noticed that the window cleaners had installed a safety net, so I knew that with some luck, I would fall into it. And I did. I landed straight into the safety net and quickly descended safely to the street. My uncle opened the van door and pulled me in. The gunmen gasped when they saw me survive the fall, and they started shooting at us as I climbed into the van and we sped away. It looked like a scene out of an action movie.
Thank God you're all right.
The van skidded around the corner and we thought we were out of danger. But seconds later, we found the black car with the cartel members chasing us.
Hold on tight.
Daniela drove that van as if she were a member of the Fast and Furious team, dodging other cars at high speed and not even panicking when a gunshot blew out the rear window. Finally, she skidded around a curve, and as the black car driver tried to follow her, he lost control and crashed through a fire hydrant. Now we were really out of danger. That night in Daniela's apartment, I laundered over $7 million through various investments and finally transferred the money to a new bank account I opened for my uncle in a tax haven country. We couldn't have been happier. My aunt would receive the best treatment possible. But later that evening, when I went to use the restroom, I came back to find the 2 of them standing a bit too close to each other in the kitchen. They both jumped at the sight of me and hurried to put some distance between them. Were they kissing or just hugging? Maybe I got confused and misjudged the situation, so I didn't pay much attention to it. The next day, I bought the nicest bouquet I could afford and went to Uncle Mike's house. I couldn't wait to give Aunt Anne a big hug. But when I got there, Uncle Mike wasn't home, and Aunt Anne looked pretty good.
He didn't come last night. He told me you guys were working on a project and were going to stay up late.
The memory of my uncle being too close to Daniela last night came back to me. Aunt Anne, can I ask you something important? Are you sick?
No? Do I look that bad? I'm actually great. Never felt better. Why? Is something wrong?
I couldn't answer her. I just dropped the flowers, turned around, and left.
Hey, Alan, are you okay? What's going on?
My favorite uncle had played me and ran off with his lover and the money. But it wasn't going to stay that way. I wasn't going to let Uncle Mike dump my aunt and cousins. They would get justice.
I'm sorry, but your card didn't go through.
Try again.
I already tried twice. You don't have enough funds.
What? How is that even possible?
The card bounced twice, Mike. I think you need to check the balance.
Filled with anxiety, Uncle Mike checked his account balance and almost had a heart attack when he saw that his balance was zero. Nothing, not even a few dollars for a drink. Blink! A text message arrived at his inbox. Family always comes first. That night, I transferred all the money to my Aunt Anne, to whom I had to confess everything that happened. At first, she didn't believe me. Then she wanted me to return the money. But I told her that the money belonged to the Mexican cartel, and we both agreed that it was better not to have any more contact with them. So, we're millionaires, and we're going to enjoy it. But in moderation so we don't raise any suspicion. There was only one thing left to do. Hi, Kira. do you want to get something to eat? We can talk about global warming.
Sure, I'd love to.